Okay, friends, I want to say goodbye to you, and I'll see you later. But in case there was one person whom I didn't tell the story, I'll tell you an awesome story. Reb Yochanan, this last Stoliner Rebbe, was telling an unbelievable story. You know, Nebuch, he was in Germany in one of the concentration camps, and I don't know if I shared with you the story already. And Eisenhower was the one who had the privilege from the Shemaim to free the Yidden from concentration camps. So anyway, the Stoliner Rebbe became close to him because they pointed out to Eisenhower that he's one of the biggest Rebbes in the world. So the Stoliner Rebbe was in a car, and in front of him was Eisenhower in his car. And you know, obviously they were just a few blocks away from the concentration camp, and suddenly on a corner was standing a woman crying like Takamama, like you were learning, from one corner of the world to the other. So Eisenhower told the driver to stop the car, and he went out to ask the woman what he can do for her. At that moment his car blew up. Unbelievable. You know, it's so deep. Sometimes I want you to do something very deep. If you do something which is within your vessels, then God pays you later. If you do something beyond your vessels, God pays you on the spot. You know, for a person like General Eisenhower, because I'm sure they were crying all over him, you could have said, listen, I'm a general. I want you to know, whatever we do beyond our vessels. What happened? Everything is good? I thought you wanted to say something. But anyway. I'm sorry, what? That's besides the point. But at that moment, he did something good, so God spared him, you know? The Gemara says sometimes we are not judged by our eternity. Usually we are judged for the moment. If God would judge us always for eternities, we may not be alive, all of us, the whole world may not be alive. But it's a good... It's not so simple, you know, it's all delicate stuff, brother. That what?
And tell these people there is a judgment. Where did you know this from? You told us yourself you don't know.
So wait, ask me after the Kiyas Shofet and I'll be clear about it.
You're in the same tree as they call that we all are.
Did I ever say I'm not?
No.
We're just learning from a holy book, giving everybody a little vitamin pill.
That light is also the same light that will not blow up Eisenhower and do other things. Does it have a reason? Does it have a way?
I have no idea, brother. Are you asking me the deepest question beyond my vessels? But I bless you, God should give you everything beyond your own vessels too. But sei gesund. Never he is hurting beyond his vessels. What do I know? I saw an unbelievable story, you know. I'll make it very short. You know the Yalde Terman, which is, I don't want to say anything bad now, but the government was discussing, they stole all the kids from Yemen who came after the Second World War. They stole them from their parents, they promised them, and they took it away from Yiddishkeit and everything. But you know, those kids grew up with this Yiddishkeit, this long Perlach, and the moment they uprooted them, they had no boundaries anymore. So this little boy of 7 is taken away from his parents, and they tell him in this non-religious kibbutz that religion is the Middle Ages. Anyway, he ends up, he's a thief, robbing a bank, he ends up in prison. And in a prison, the rabbi comes to conduct a seder. So someone comes in and says to the inmates, would you be interested in joining this rabbi for a seder? He starts yelling, this is Middle Ages, I'm not interested. And then the other thieves also start yelling, we're not interested in The Middle Ages, okay, don't. But in the meantime, at night, they come again. Would you like to join for the Seder? Good. And this rabbi, obviously, his father's rabbi who knew their language, who was from Yemen himself, Mamish, he made the Seder so beautiful, you know. And he was sitting there, and Nebuch inside, he remembered the Seder, how it was in Teman, his parents, and so he begins to miss his parents so much. You know, it's disgusting what they did. They were murders. They completely took them away from their parents. Anyway, so everybody was dancing, and he was sitting there by himself. Suddenly the rabbi came up to him. Mamish gave him the biggest hug and a kiss. Kabbalists, he began to cry. He says, do you know that since they took me away from my parents, nobody kissed me? And the rabbi, Mamish, absolutely, right away, Mamish adopted him, and Mamish took him in and found his parents, you know. But you know, sometimes if a person is hurting beyond vessels, you know, like, you cannot tell them words, you have to give them a big hug, but they didn't have a chance to get up and hug him with. I hope somebody will. Anyway, l'chaim, l'chaim. We should have friends beyond our vessels who can also console us beyond vessels, you know. Because words never console. Remember we're learning from the Heilige, remember the Torah from the Heilige Rebbe, Nachamu, Nachamu, Ami. Console, console, he says, what's console, console? Don't console with words, don't tell them of other people that have the same trouble. Console with consolation. Anyway, L'chaim, L'chaim, thank you so much. What do you want to say, Danny?
What if that person is in such a bad state that he just doesn't accept, he just can't accept being hugged? I mean, in a situation like that where you know that person is bad and that person is.
You see what it is? On one hand, they won't accept it, but then they go home and they think, somebody still hugged me, you know? It's still a breakthrough. You know, sometimes you have to hug people because of them, and sometimes despite of them. You know, most people you have to love them despite of them. L'chaim, l'chaim. Thank you so much. Okay, let's go fast.
There'll be a session tonight with Shlomo in Hebrew that will start at 9:15.